owner of Travelfly Adventures and the founder of Travelfly Presents Boss Babes Travel. And with me, I have again my colleagues this week joining me, Lena from What's Poppin' in the USA and Jessica of JD Scribes and Bond Small Business. So last week we talked about using Canva and Constant Contact. And so this week I wanted to really talk about using AI. Now, everybody's talking about AI, whether they like it or not, does it replace humans and all this other jazz? But one of the things I want to say, no matter what anybody is saying about AI is here to stay, and I'm all about it. I'm all for it, okay? Because as business owners, we wear many, 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 many hats. And so we need that extra help so that we don't feel overwhelmed, right? And AI is a tool, and we need that tool. We need as many tools at our disposal as possible. Now, it doesn't replace real human input, obviously, but it can definitely help you if you are short on words or don't know exactly what to say, but have an idea of what you want to say. So some of the things that AI can help you in. It can help you in automating repetitive tasks, improving your customer interaction. It can free up time to help you focus on higher level tasks, right? And that's one of the benefits. Task automation, it can handle routine tasks like sending scheduled emails, setting reminders, managing your calendar, saving you a lot of time and effort. So I kind of have a story about this because I was using my phone and I have Google Assistant on there and I wanted to set some dinner reservations, right? And so Google said, "Oh, would you like me to set those reservations for you?" What? My Google Assistant.
You can
do that? So I said, "I'm going to try this out." Yeah, go ahead, set it. And then I got a message back saying, "Okay, your reservations have been confirmed." And I'm like, okay, so I called the restaurant just to make sure that it had actually made the reservation. And I'll be darned. They say, "Oh yeah, Keela, party of 6, we have you here for this date and this time." What? Okay, so that saved me time because I was during a busy work day and my friend was like, "Oh, let's do dinner, blah, 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 set the reservation." So I'm like, okay. I'm like, man, I don't really have time to do that. I got different appointments and I'm doing this, doing that. And when Google popped up and said, "Do you want me to do it for you?" I was like, "Oh yeah, let's do that." It actually worked. And I didn't have any issues at all. So again,
AI can be used.
Yes.
Can I share a story?
Yeah, go ahead, share a story.
So I got to tell you, right? So I've been wanting one of these Amazon plugs to work with my Echo because I have an Echo Dot.
Oh, I used to
And,
have an Echo.
I'm always just like, Alexa, play, my 80s music or play my reggaeton station or, Alexa, set the timer for 10 minutes. I'm good with that one, right? But I wanted it to, my husband has a bad habit of rolling over and going to sleep with the remotes on his side of the bed. And instead of me having to get up out of the bed and walk around or climb over him and wake him up and get them, right? I was like, my TV is not a smart TV because it's old, but I can plug the plug into the Alexa smart plug. And so I actually now will say, "Alexa, turn the bedroom TV off." So when he's rolled over, snoring, sleep, and hogging the remotes, I can still turn. I mean, it's still what? Artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like the Jetsons or whatever. I'm like, "Yo, Alexa, turn the TV off." And she says, "Okay." And then it turns off. It's the coolest thing in the world.
And
So
if you think
use
about
it.
it, artificial intelligence is everywhere. People are now using chat bots, right? For
Yes.
their websites. And that's novel. That's great. You have things like mini chat, MANY chat,
Yes.
that you can use for your social media to help answer questions and do different things like that in your DM. So you can set up FAQs in there and, whatever else you need to do, it'll answer questions for you. I mean, you have to
Right.
program it, obviously, but still, that's something that's, again, working smarter and not harder. So
Right.
it has an increase of efficiency. So some of the ways that I use my artificial intelligence, because I use it pretty much every day, I use it to help me create social media content, right? So I can tell my AI, okay, I need 30 days of content for XYZ. Now, with that, you have to know how to prompt your AI. And I know you hear a
Mhm.
lot about, oh, you guys don't
That's
know how
the
to
issue.
prompt and
Yeah.
don't know how
Yeah.
to do this and you don't know how to do that. But here's the thing, it's not as hard as you think it would be. Okay. Writing a prompt is not that hard. And the more you tweak your AI, the easier it is for your AI to learn your tone, your voice, everything that you need for your business. And so it can help you with that. So AI assistants can be leveraged across multiple areas of your business, like sales, marketing, customer
Right.
support, administrative tasks. So I'm going to give you an example of writing a good prompt versus writing a bad prompt. So
Mhm.
a good prompt. Can you provide a week's weather forecast for New York City? Your AI will understand that you need a detailed forecast for a specific city. Um, Another good prompt. Can you draft an email to a client apologizing for the delayed shipment and providing an estimated new delivery date? This prompt is well guided with a specific task and the context is provided. Now, some less effective prompts, okay? What's the weather like? What's the
That's
weather
just
like
the
where?
basic.
Yeah.
What's
So
the
it's
weather
almost
like
like,
where?
you remember in school, they would say open-ended questions?
Yes.
Like, with more information, you not just a yes or no or a one-word answer question, they want
Yeah.
detail, right?
But it's just like talking to a human. If I said, "Hey, Lena, what's the weather like?" And you're like, "Weather like where? Here?
Where?
Where? What are you talking about?" So,
Right,
Mhm.
a
right,
better way to be would be to ask, like, "What's the weather like in New York City at this date and at this time?" And, "Oh,
right,
okay." And then it can answer you back. So it'll know
better,
exactly what to
right,
provide you with. Another good prompt. Can
right.
you write in, oh, another bad prompt. I'm sorry, we're on the bad ones. Can you write an email?
About?
And
Right.
again,
Or
where, to who, about what? So without
Right,
knowing the email's topic or the recipient, the AI won't perform the task effectively.
correct.
So I
Mhm.
actually use it to help me write newsletters. I tell it what type of tone I want it to have. I want you to be engaging. I want you to have authority. I want you to sound like a 40 something year old woman. You can give it detailed prompts and tell
Right,
it what to say, and then it'll say, okay, and then it'll write it out for you. Yes, you can tweak it to make it, you
right,
can read it and tweak it and say, oh, I don't quite like this, or I don't quite like that, or good
right,
job. I really like that you use this. That sounds
right.
perfect. And when you use those kind of commands or you say things like that back to it, it learns. And
What
then
you like,
the
right.
next time you use it, it'll be more towards your liking. And so I love AI. Again, you can use it to create your social media content. You can use it to help you create your email newsletters. And then you can use Constant Contact to set up your emails, your email automations to go out throughout the month. You don't have to sit there and email everybody, once a week, twice a week, and do all those different things. You can set it up ahead of time. So if you get on your AI and you're like, okay, I need to produce about 5 different topics for an email or a blog for my
Right,
website or whatever. It'll spit out those 5 different topics. And then you can
right,
go through each one and you can ask it detailed information about each
right,
one. And then you can tweak that accordingly. Then you can go into Constant Contact. You can set up your email automations for the month, right? You can set it up
right,
for the month. Schedule it. That's what the scheduling part is all about, just like you do for your social media content. You put it together and you schedule it, and then it rolls it out for you. So that's the same thing that you can do, and your AI is helping you. So, thus saving you a lot of time and
tons.
energy of sitting there going, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to say? How am I going to
Right,
say it? Does this sound right? You give it, you have a
right,
personal assistant that can
right,
help you in your business. And again, streamlining, again, saving you time and energy and all of those fun things. I've saved so much time in my business by utilizing these things. I was
right.
crazy before trying to figure everything out.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Have any of you used AI for anything yet like that?
Not to the extent that you have. I have written some letters with it. I will come up with, verbiage for my, posts.
Mhm.
I might write something and I'm just like, "Well, I don't know how I like how that sounds," and then I'll,
Tweak
AI
it.
it and let it do its thing and go through and So, yes, but not to the extent that you have. Not
Yeah.
that but yes.
You can go in, you
Yeah.
can tweak it, and even with Canva now, they have an AI assistant that will go
Yes,
in
they
and
do.
rewrite the
Yes, I
magic
definitely
rewrite.
use that. Totally
I've
use
used
that.
it.
Totally use
I've
that.
used it.
Yeah.
And it's just helpful again, to you. It's a helpful
Right.
assistant to you so that you can do what you need to do and get back to the more important things of which is selling. So again, when providing prompts to your AI, clarity is key. Make sure you specify the task in a way that the AI can understand and deliver the best possible results to you. And
Right.
then remember to check and double check the output, especially if it's
Double
for a
check.
customer facing task. Like you do have to, go back and fact check. You don't want to just leave it
Yes.
up to your AI and be like, oh,
I
the
was gonna
AI
say
wrote it,
that.
so it's correct.
No.
No.
It 'cause it may not say stuff right or
May
maybe
not be
taken
relevant
something out of
anymore.
context,
Mhm.
or it might not use words that you would use, or it might not flow like you would speak, or, I know that's more, Jessica's gonna talk on that about finding your voice,
Yes,
right? And
absolutely.
how to make it find your voice, but AI can definitely help. Yeah,
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm muted.
it's okay.
But yeah, but I hope that this was super helpful to you and that you do take the time to experiment using the artificial intelligence. It's not as scary as everybody thinks it is. You're not replacing humans. You're just using another tool, just like you do on your apps, okay? Just like you do on everything. And somewhere in time, somebody thought that Google sounded crazy. Oh, that's not good.
Right.
Google's not good. Don't use Google. But guess what? Google's here to stay, and we
Okay,
use it every day.
how about we take it a step further? How many of y'all watched The Jetsons?
Oh, I love the Jetsons.
So, how didn't Judy Jetson go plop in her chair and put on the video phone and talk to her friends? What are
Oh,
we
yeah.
doing right now?
Yep, exactly. So,
All of the stuff that we saw working from home, George Jetson with all those screens, what are we doing now?
absolutely. Working from home, using all the
All of
screens.
that stuff that was futuristic, that looked funky, that nobody thought would ever happen, what
Hmm.
are we doing now?
Exactly. Exactly. So
It's here to
I hope
stay.
that this was helpful to you.
Hey y'all, it's Helena Lynette with What's Poppin' USA Small Business Support Network, and welcome back. This week we are again with Miss Kayla Reyes and Miss Jessica Starks, and today we are talking about creative juices. And by that I mean getting them flowing. So we've got our brand, right? We've got this awesome product or service. We know what our voice is. We know what our logo is. We know what we look like, our brand personality is. We know who our customer is. We know what they look like, where they shop, how much money they make, where they live, if they got kids, if they got a job, if they like Steve Harvey or Metallica. We know all their ins and outs because we can visualize what our customer is, who our customer is. So now we're going to talk about being creative in your strategy. So let me ask this. Both of y'all are moms. You're not a mommy. Have you ever gone shopping, Jessica?
Yeah.
You're not a mommy, but you've been shopping. Have you ever been to the grocery store?
Yes.
Have you ever been down the bread aisle?
Yes.
Okay. How many different types of bread are there?
Thousands.
My point. So, Sunbeam, Wonder Bread, Nature's Own, you got pumpernickel rye, potato, sweet bread, this bread, that bread, seeded, unseeded, sprouted, unsprouted, right? Right? So, when people say, "You know what? I got a candle company, but everybody makes candles." Everybody makes candles. Girl, like I said, how many types of bread are there? Do you think any of these other companies are worried about what the other one's doing? And that's a big no. And you know why? Because they all have their own recipe, right? They all got their own that makes them special. Whatever that is, they got that makes them special, right? Whether it's the $8 bread that's in the freezer because it's all organic, like the Ezekiel bread or something like that, right? Or it's the Kroger brand or the Albertson brand or the Lucky's brand, like no nutritional value bread, right? Every bread has its own set of people that are going to go after it, right? That's that target market. So how do these brands actually draw you to their stuff though? How do they actually say, "Hey, I got I got this mirror and I want to sell it." How do they get it out to the masses, right? As a large brand, they've got this, right? And then they've got people that they pay this to think of all these creative ideas, right? But Keila, how many times did you say as a small business owner, how many hats do we wear? All of them. All of them,
Every
right?
single last
We're
one.
the accountant, we are the marketer, we're the graphic designer, we're the social media marketer, we're the CEO, we are the printer, we are the copy editor, we are the website designer, we are the accountant, we're the therapist because we talk to ourselves, have staff meetings by ourselves, all of the, we do everything. We wear all of the hats, right? And so sometimes we get overwhelmed and we're like, okay, I don't even know what to do anymore. It's like you're beating your head against the wall, right? You've got this great product and you might know who your customer is, but how do you get it to them? How do you be creative to like outdo the next guy? Okay. So, as a small business, you kind of got to think outside the box. We don't have the money, buku money to spend on advertising. We can't pay an agency or, somebody on Fiverr, you know what I mean, to constantly promote for us, right? So, some of the things we have to do is think about now, I'm going to give you a business. Say I'm a massage therapist. Okay. Say I'm a massage therapist. And I'm like, all right, I just graduated from massage therapy school. I want to go rub and touch on somebody. I have all of my friends and all of my family. I've exhausted all of them. Because as a business owner, what do we do first? We go to our friends and family. Can you buy this? Can if you're a massage therapist, can I try this on you? If you're a nail tech, can I put some nails on you? If you're a hair person, can I do your hair? You know what I mean? Like you go to them to get them to, right? But after you exhaust all of that, then who do you go to, right? So say I'm a massage therapist. I just graduated from school. I don't have a lot of money for advertising or anything. But one thing I do have is a table and a chair. The massage chairs, and then I have a table. Both of those things are portable. FYI, both of those things are portable. So let's think about some creative things, right? So, who is stressed? Where do people need massages at? Are there any? I live in Atlanta. There's a lot of corporations here. What is stopping you from drafting a letter and then an email and then maybe even popping up in person because just one time doesn't do it. It has to be multiple times. And let me just interject and say most people do not remember or catch on to stuff until they have seen it at least 3 to 7 times. 3 to 7 times. So as you're posting stuff and you think you're being repetitive and you think people are getting bored with your stuff, guess what? Every time they see it, it's like, oh, that's new. Oh, that until it starts getting in their head, right? So I say that to say my husband watches a lot of sports. Do you guys remember the Burger King commercial with the king doing this with the hamburger? Do you guys remember that? You don't remember that? Okay, so you know the king, the Burger King king, he was dressed up in the outfit with a Whopper and he was fanning himself. This damn commercial came on like every other commercial. It was so irritating, but it's repetition. You know why? Cuz I might be tired of that shit, but I remember it, don't I? I remember it, don't I? It might be irritating, but I remember it, right? So repetition, you want to follow up. Just because you sent an email and nobody answered you, or just because you sent a message and nobody answers, you got to follow up. As a business owner, the fortune is in the follow up. Please get that through your head. Fortune is in the follow up. So when you are contacting people, like I said, I'm a massage therapist. Say I go into Georgia Pacific, which is one of the big corporations here. Or hell, what if I go into the CNN Center, right? A bunch of stressed out people in the offices. I can go to maybe their human resources office or maybe their EAP, their employee, is it employee association program or something like that, like an employee benefit type thing through HR and so. Hey, I'm a massage therapist. Do you guys have a vacant office? I would love to come to your building every Tuesday and Thursday and give 10-minute massages during breaks or so. That is huge. You can rotate. There's 5 business days in the work week. You can rotate to different businesses. Have you ever thought about that? I mean, that's pretty cool though, right? Think about that, right? Or what about sports teams? And it doesn't we're not talking NFL, major league anything. What about school sports teams that need maybe some massage therapy for the athletes, for the legs, for the arms, right? You can target there are intramural sports at the local parks and rec. You don't even have to go to the if you can't get into the school district, go to the local parks and rec. They have intramural sports. There are different ways to be creative and think outside the box. So say you make t-shirts or tumblers. Okay, well, it's probably cheaper for a company ordering in bulk to go to like for imprint or Vistaprint or something like that because of the quantity that they're ordering, right? But what about field day for school? What about PTA and parent teacher conferences? What about school organizations? What about school functions that need the t-shirts and the water bottles and all of that? These are different places that you just because you sell t-shirts doesn't mean you only can be in a store or sell them out of your trunk. You have to think outside the box and think who would actually need this stuff? Like who's going to need it? What about maybe Lifetime Fitness or maybe one of the other fitness places? Or maybe somebody who's not a chain that has a smaller mom and pop fitness place. Dude, making their t-shirts, automotive shops. All of these places have a t-shirt or a polo shirt that's got somebody's name and a logo on it, right? These are all places that you can target for your business. Just because you sell t-shirts doesn't mean you're confined to Facebook or confined to a pop-up shop. So I need you to think about those creative ideas with targeting different places. I had a young lady who was an author, okay? And she was writing a children's book. And the children's book happened to be about her son who is specially abled. And so she writes books that he is a superhero. And the abilities that he does have, she turned them into his superpower. So one of the ideas I said to her was, "Hey, have you thought about doing a book tour and maybe going to the local libraries? Or have you thought about hitting up all of the elementary and middle schools and their special ed programs and maybe coming into the school and reading the book with your child with you?" That is huge. Once a school system catches on to your books, then everybody else in the district wants it too, not just that one school, you know? And she had a collection of books. So I said, don't present your books to them as a collection. Don't do it as a single. Only two of her books had come out, but she had four or so in the collection. Sell them all as a collection. You know what I mean? It's thinking outside the box and targeting different businesses, targeting different places that could use your services that you haven't really thought about, or that other people, maybe somebody else has beat you to the punch. Well, honey, there's a million automotive places, mom and pop places. There's a million restaurants that need t-shirts. Them things get dirty and all kinds of, they always need new t-shirts, right? Maybe you come to them and you embroider and you do their towels, or their little waist towels or their little aprons, and put everybody's name on it. These are ideas to think outside of the box. And once you, honestly, if you think about it, once you corner one business and somebody else comes in and sees that, they're going to be like, "Where'd you get that from? Who did your aprons and your t-shirts and your water bottles? And who's doing?" You actually have somebody coming in and doing chair massages on your workers? What? What? That's big. That's big, because then people are gonna wanna come to work, right? Because they're getting that, instead of having a gym. Not all places have gyms for their people to work out at. But if you provide a therapist that's there, and it's like $1 a minute or $10 for 10 minutes, or the place pays for it, or whatever the case is, that is huge. Health and wellness, right? And then you go to the next corporation and you do it on a Tuesday and a Wednesday and a Thursday and a Friday at the next one, and take Mondays off, whatever, right? These are all different ways to think about being creative in your business. You don't have to stick to Facebook, Etsy, Shopify, right? Wix. You don't any of these little e-commerce, you're not pigeonholed by your TikTok shop, you know? Getting those creative juices running. Okay, I've got this shirt. Think about all the businesses in your immediate area. Dang, how many businesses can I actually target just within a 2-mile radius of my house? A shit ton if I sold t-shirts, right? So that's what you want to do. You want to think outside of the box. Think about those different creative strategies that other people, because you don't have the money for somebody else to come up with these strategies for you. So, brainstorm, get you a Dollar Tree notebook. It's $1.25 now, so you got to spend a little bit extra, but get you a composition book and just start writing down, put one business per page, when you contacted them, what you're offering them, did they get back to you? Maybe they're doing it on, companies sometimes work on a fiscal budget and not on a calendar year. So maybe their new budget doesn't renew till July. So you got to wait till July to hit them back. But all of these creative ideas and strategies to get your business off of the computer and actually out into the actual world for more people, more real hands-on interaction, um, is really what you're looking for. And taking advantage and brainstorming and coming up with some of these creative ideas for your business, no matter what they are, is really going to catapult you. So I do small business stuff, right? And I love to run my mouth. Well, dude, do you know, have you in your towns, in your local community centers, have you ever seen like the little guides where you can go take a Spanish class or go take an art class or take Tai Chi or something like that, right? Well, guess what? I teach small business stuff. Duh. Why am I not out there teaching at the Parks and Rec like that, right? I am. I'm just saying. These are different things to get out of your social media rubble, a bubble and a rut, and out of your brain's rut. You know what I mean? And get out there with some creative ideas. Go out there and roll around in the bread aisle. You know what I mean? Go walk through and see how many types of bread there are. How many types of ice cream? How many types of whatever? You know what I mean? We're not limited and pigeonholed to just one. So you kind of got to outfox and be creative with your strategy. And so I hope that I've at least given you some ideas to think about. You know, it may not have been your particular business or industry that I honed in on, but in me talking about these other, supposed businesses and thinking about what you could do, right? Really can expand your business and expand your reach and keep coming up with those creative ideas. Just because one doesn't work, come up with some more. I mean, come on now. You know what I mean? We all come up with ideas and have ideas for everything. But when it comes to our business, we feel like, and I'm going to say one thing that somebody told me that, and I've taken to heart, really. At this point in our business, I've been in business now for a few years, right? But at this point in my business, I am still small enough to make mistakes. I am still small enough to learn. I am still small enough to grow and to do better. And so I say that to you saying, don't be afraid. You already took the leap of faith to actually start a business and you're already here, right? So all the work that you already put into it, don't throw it to the wayside because you can't come up with some creative ideas. Yes, AI will help you come up with right verbiage. It'll help you come up with social media content. But if you can't tell the AI what you want, again, and to come up with those creative ideas, you're never going to get it off the ground. So get you that Dollar Tree notebook and take copious notes. Keep it by your bedside. You know, I wake up in the middle of the night because my hamster won't get off the wheel. And I'm like, oh, I got an idea. Jot it down, and revisit it. And revisit it. I hope I've been helpful at least a little bit with helping you churn up some of your creative ideas. And that's it for me. I'm done. I've got to say. That's what I'm my soapbox, and I'm sticking to it, ladies.
Hey, everybody. Last time y'all gonna see me, I did it once, I did it twice, now I'm doing it 3 times.
Three
I'm
times.
Latina, Eden from Travel Fly Adventures, and Lena from What's Poppin' USA. And and this time, I don't know, some of y'all might be bored. I'm an English major, so I love this type of stuff. But we're gonna talk about how to get creative with grammar in your marketing. Now, I know a lot
Okay.
of people are like, what does that have to do with anything? It has a lot to do with stuff. And grammar matters. I want y'all to think about that. Grammar is important, okay?
Yes.
Literally, how we communicate. Grammar is the foundation of that. So, there are several different grammar rules. We already can agree that you want to make sure you proofread everything, that you send out, whether it's an email, a blog post, a pitch deck, social media caption, social media graphic, anything. You want to make sure that it's grammatically correct, it makes sense, all that
Mm,
great stuff.
Mhm.
However, when there's rules, there's also rules that you can break, but it has to be in context. Okay. You can't just be out here willy nilly breaking rules. Like it has to make sense. You have to have a reason you're going to break a rule.
Okay.
So, the first grammar rule that you can break is the use of contractions. Now, we've learned about contractions in school. We know what they are. Sometimes they aren't always welcome in writing. A
I
lot of
didn't think
people,
that in formal writing you were supposed to use them.
you're not.
Okay.
But
Okay, I
when
didn't
you're
think so.
doing things like captions or you're just, targeting your audience, things like that,
Right.
you can definitely use it.
Okay.
Also, another reason that it likes to be used because it sounds more human.
It does.
So,
If you say can't or don't or
right,
won't
because it's
or
like,
shouldn't.
oh, I cannot go to the
I should
swimming pool
not.
today.
Oh, I should not. I cannot. It sounds
Right.
too
It
hoity-toity.
comes off like, are you a robot? Like,
Pretentious. Yeah, yeah.
right. And it
Uppity like.
also sometimes, yeah, exactly. It can sometimes come off as a smoother read. So
Mm.
make sure that when you're doing things like that, you can use your contractions. Now, of course, I'm in the South. Ain't is a big thing. Ain't, can't, all that
Ain't
great
ain't
stuff.
a thing. Ain't a word.
Right. And
I
I'm
know.
like, it is.
It
So,
is, and so
It
is
especially,
ain't.
y'all. And so is y'all. Sorry. I use y'all
mhm,
on a daily
mhm,
basis. Y'all.
yes.
Y'all.
Yes,
Y'all
Oh,
and
and
ain't.
it makes it easier saying you all you
Hey,
people,
y'all.
all them folks, just say y'all. It's
What's up,
easier
y'all?
and it's more human.
That flows better. Flows better.
So, right. It makes it
It
easier
does.
to read. It makes you sound like a human. It makes you sound relatable. Now, maybe if
Right.
you're, the president, something like that, you might not want to do all that. Or if you're,
Right.
maybe you're writing a grant, something along those lines, you might can be a little bit
Formal.
more,
Right.
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 You'd be more
Right.
a little more proper. But other than that, if you're talking to your people and you got a relationship with your fans, use can't, ain't, and everything else. Right.
Okay.
So the next rule is using words that aren't real words. Now, we know with your reading stuff, sometimes you might type something wrong or something comes up crazy and your grammar checker's like, nope, that ain't it. It's okay to sometimes make up your own words, but it has to make sense.
I make up my own.
See? And she's successful. See, look where that'll get you.
I do make up my own words. I do.
Yeah. So, like, one example I think of, I follow a creator called Larry Reed Live, and he's always talking about, he's from like North Carolina or something. And a lot of people say darn instead of darn.
Mm-hmm.
So his phrase is, let's have a conversation. That's not a word at all, but that's one of his signature words. Like he has a
Right.
whole thing. He could probably have a dictionary with all his words, but every
Right.
time he does a live, he's like, all right, come on in the room. Let's have a conversation. We know
Right.
what that is, right?
Right.
Or even using just words in a sequence. Like for his, it's LRL. So when he talks to his fans, it's okay, LRLers, where y'all at? Because that means Larry Reed Live,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, or that's like if we would say BFF. If you were
Right.
formal, you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's my best friend forever. But
Right.
no, we got time. So say that's
Right.
my BFF, right? That
Right.
again, one of my hashtags was your biz BFF. Because I don't
Right.
want to say, oh, I'm your business's best
It's
friend forever.
too
That's no,
formal. Right.
it's too
Right.
much. So do that, right? So the next thing is active and passive voice. This is a deeper
Mhm.
grammar thing that I don't know if everybody knows, but it's very effective in your marketing. So active voice, I'm just gonna keep it simple. It's more so like the word says action based. It's something, doing something,
A
right?
call to action.
Right. So we're gonna keep it simple. Jane rode her bike. That's more
Right.
of active. Jane is doing the thing.
Right.
Passive voice could be, it was a bike that Jane rode down the hill. It's a little more wordy, but it's
Right.
being done, but it's structured different. So if
Right.
you have, like Lena was saying, a call to action, you want to use your active voice because that's going to be like call now, book
Right.
today,
Do it now.
schedule an
Right.
appointment.
Right.
That's active voice. So if you want your customers to do something, use
Right.
that active voice because that's leaning more into them doing something.
Telling them
Now,
to do something, instructing them to do something.
right, right.
Right.
Passive voice can be used more towards if you're educating or you're highlighting something. Like
Right.
you might could say, hey, we offer social media services. Like you're making them aware, but if
Right.
you want to do it in more of an active voice, like call us now at 555-5555 for social media service.
Right. Right. It's more of a suggestion as opposed to hitting you over the head with it.
Right, right. It's just more of a softer blow. But
Right.
also fun facts, and I'm not gonna get into it because that's a lot. Active voice is actually more preferred for SEO on your website.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a slight SEO boost, you want to use your active voice on your website as well.
Mhm.
And it's just more effective in general. The next thing, I know most English teachers told us not to. You
Uh-oh.
can use slang in your marketing, right? So if
No
I
cap.
don't know why this came to me.
No
Right.
cap.
You can say cap, you can say lit, you can say simp. I still don't know what that means, but you can say, I don't know, bro, you can say cuz.
Bruh.
Right. You can say all that different stuff.
Girl.
So a lot of times if you're formal, don't be like, what's up, suckers? Like, don't do that.
Right.
Ah,
Don't do that if you're talking to your lawyer or, trying to say something formal. But if you got friends and stuff, yeah, you can
A
talk
little
to
bit.
them. But don't
so
do
you
that
guys
with
see me
everybody.
saying, "What's up, suckers?" Jessica said it was okay.
It's okay for your people. It's okay for your people. I'll take that. It's okay for your people. But if
I
you go to your lawyer or your
Bitches.
doctor and
You
say
know?
that, that's not on me. But you can use slang in your marketing, right?
Right.
Because it could just be something as simple as like if you target business owners. They said you couldn't start a business, that's cap. They gonna know what you're talking about. But if you
As
get
long as
pulled
it's
over,
relevant and you're
right,
using it properly. You know
Well,
what I
if
exactly,
mean?
that's your audience, though, I mean, I could get that. I could
right.
Right.
understand that. If that's your target
Right.
audience and that's how they talk,
Mm-hmm.
want to be relatable to your audience. But
Mm-hmm.
if that's not how they talk,
Don't do that.
And
don't
they're
do
gonna be
it
like,
because
"What's
then they're
that
gonna be
mean?
like,
Right.
what now?
What
What's
do you
cap?
mean? What is that?
What she Betty? She said cap. What does cap mean?"
Not Betty. Betty don't know what cat means either.
Oh,
That's
I can't. So next, hashtags. You'll see
mm.
those pop around a lot. A lot of people use them in their marketing. And of
Mhm.
course, your standard old school English teacher be like, don't use that in a sentence. That doesn't make sense. Don't put that in there. But you got to think about, especially in social media, and we working with algorithms and brand visibility and, making sure people are familiar with us. It's
So
okay to use those, but they have to be in context also.
so is it better to use the hashtags in your actual sentence, or is it better to put all the hashtags at the end with all the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would say overall, it's a style choice.
Okay.
And it's kind of based on what you're writing. Because if you have like a lot of
Mhm.
stuff, I would say leave it till the end so it's not just
Right.
so jumbled.
Right.
But
Okay.
if you like it, because sometimes I find myself, I like my hashtags at the end, but that's
I
just
use
me.
them at the end too. I was just
Yeah.
asking. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's more of a style choice.
Or
Okay.
you could say, I'm a hashtag cutie going on a hashtag vacation with hashtag summer
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah, some people actually
Yeah.
put them in the
And
hashtag
that's a lot. And
vacation.
that can be a turn off just for a reader in general. And then two,
right
another
for the eye
right. And then
to
the hashtags, the words, you have to be able to read the words. Otherwise, there's no point in having a
so they
hashtag.
blend together and you don't know what the hell it's saying. Right.
Right. So I would
Okay.
suggest every word capitalize that, the individual word so you can see what they're saying. because I've been looking at like, what does that say? I don't know what it means.
Right, and you got to
And I have,
capitalize.
yeah, like you're
Right.
playing word scramble trying to figure out what it is. Like, just
That's
make
true.
it easy. It ain't got to be that hard. And don't make the hashtag super long. Like, I know you don't care about this, but I love this oh so much. Like,
Some of them are so, and then they
yeah,
totally misspell it because they got too many letters and words in there.
Yeah, I try to
exactly.
keep mine short
Yeah,
because,
like 5 words or less. That's it.
and also don't misspell your own business name in your
Yes,
hashtag.
people do
I've
that
done
all
that.
the time. And I'm like, you not realize that that's messing up, how it's showing
Yes.
up because you can't spell your name right.
I've done it a couple times and I've gone back and I'm like, wait a second.
Did I
I have
see
to edit
that?
that and fix that. Yeah, I messed up the L in travel fly before. So it's like Trav Fly Adventure.
I usually will go back and cut and paste. So I'll
Okay.
go back to a previous post and
Cut
cut
and
and
paste.
paste. Yeah. Makes it
Yeah.
easier than having to type all that crap out all the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
That depends
And
on what I'm
even
posting about. Mine has to change. But yeah.
oh yeah. And even knowing like where to use them because you can use hashtags on virtually all the social media platforms,
Right.
but I'm not gonna load a bunch of hashtags into LinkedIn. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like it doesn't
yeah.
make sense, right?
Or
Right.
or
Right.
threads. Threads doesn't really use hashtags either.
I haven't played with threads yet.
Yeah,
I
it
haven't done
turned
that.
me off. I didn't want to do it.
You didn't like
I
it?
have it's fun. I don't use it as much, I will be honest, but I do go in there and I'll check in and talk to people and stuff like that.
What is it threads for?
It's almost like it was basically Instagram's answer to Twitter. So it's almost like a Twitter version of Instagram.
Because then
Yeah.
they do that after they debuted X
Yes,
Right.
and thought it was gonna be better, and it didn't work. They tried.
it did.
Trash.
I mean, it had more people who signed into Threads, but then I think the statistics were then, all the people who left Twitter went over to Threads or something like that, or something to that
Mm,
effect. But I did use it for a little while, and still people are still really active on there.
right. It's
Hmm.
just too much. I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm enough with my little hashtags and my other, trying to come up with verbiage for that. I don't need to have a whole another one. But
Mhm.
okay, I wasn't sure about the hashtags because then some folks are like, well, don't put them in your actual post, put the hashtags in the comments instead. You know what I mean? Like I've heard it other
Yeah,
ways too. So I
yeah,
just
and I've
wasn't
seen that go both ways. I think it's just more of what like a trial and error thing on what works. Like for
right,
your thing. Because I've even
right.
seen people say use a ton of hashtags on Facebook and
Or
don't use
only use
any.
a couple or something. Yeah, they go back and forth.
Mhm. So
Some people use all 30 hashtags on Instagram. Instagram will let you have 30. They use all
mhm.
30. And I'm just like, wow, that's a lot.
Yep.
You know what I
You have
mean?
more
I
hashtags
might
than you do
use
a caption.
I might use like 5
Mhm.
or less, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I don't use that's a lot.
Yeah. Because I think too, a lot of people don't think it's about the quality of the hashtag you're using than
Right.
like
And they
how
should be
many.
relevant to your business.
Right.
So, the hashtags that I'm using, I use all the time for my business in the business realm, but 30 of them, that's a lot. Like, my business gets lost in 30 hashtags. You know what I mean? It
Mhm.
becomes less relevant and less targeted with that
Mm.
many of
Right.
them. So,
Right.
okay. All right. Thank you for that, Jesse, because I wasn't sure.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
And then and then the last thing I'm gonna mention is
Yes.
alliteration. Now this is a rule you can follow, but just don't do the most. I'll
So,
say
what is
that.
alliteration?
So have you like what is the Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers?
Tongue
That's how
twister.
that's right. That's how that works. But you
Okay.
can use that like like if it's like boss babes boots or something. I couldn't think of another B
Right.
word, but you know
Right.
what I'm saying. Like
Right.
you
Play
don't
a
want to
play
do
on it.
right.
Like,
And you don't
right.
want to do too much with it. But the thing
Mm,
about alliteration too is people remember that.
yeah.
So when you're thinking about like your slogans, your hashtags, or just different phrases you want to say, that's how you want to think about it. Like you can use alliteration and it's okay. If you're writing something formal, it can be a lot. Because just think
Right.
about if you're writing a speech and you have, all those B words in there, all those P words, and you're spitting
Hard
all over
to
the place.
stumble over. Yeah.
Right. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. But you can use that in your marketing or, like I said, your hashtags, things like that. And it's okay. Like I said, if
Right.
you're talking like business besties or like toddlers and tiaras, like that was one thing that came in my
Right.
head. But you remember that. Never,
Right.
you may have never watched the
Absolutely.
show, but you remember that.
Right. The
So,
TNT. Right. Right.
right. Yeah, TNT. So yeah,
Mhm.
use alliteration to your advantage.
Okay.
So those are my grammar tips because, like I said, most people hate grammar, and I don't want to bore people.
I like English.
Oh, well, thank you.
I like
But
English.
yeah, those are ways that you can use grammar to your advantage.
Yeah.
Don't feel pressured. You can break some rules, but remember, it has to be in the right context. Don't go
Right.
out here looking foolish and then say I did it because I told you.
And also with grammar and communicating with your audience, I actually have a Hispanic audience too. Google Translate is your friend.
Yes.
You can pick up a
Yes.
whole new customer base by switching up your
Mhm.
language too. Mm,
Yep,
I didn't even
that's
think
true.
yeah, FYI.
I like it.
Yes,
I just picking up language so I can speak them in different countries I want to travel to.
that too. That too. That
Yes.
too. I like it.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for this three-part series
Yes.
webinar. We've had so much fun and we hope that you learned a lot. We hope that we brought a lot to the table for you and that you're able to download this or watch it or rewind it or share it
Right.
or what have you with somebody else that needs these great tips. Thank
Please
you,
pass
Lena,
it on.
for
You're
joining
welcome.
us, and thank you, Jessica, and thank me. Ha. I feel like Snoop Dogg. I like to thank myself. Um, but we had so much fun, and business is our passion because we do it every single day, and so we really wanted to bring something that would be helpful to other business owners,
Yes.
um, because traversing the seas of business is not always easy, and it's nice to have a
Tumultuous.
hand. Yes,
Mhm.
tumultuous. There you go. And so it's nice to have a helping hand. So we hope that we've been able to provide that for you. So thank you so much for watching and take care.
Till next time.
Bye.